This is the new AMG G63 and today we're gonna be putting 1100 stars in it. But first a little montage. So first things first, I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm gonna be using for this install. So as you can see, I have a dual head setup here. It's because each of these fibers hold 550 stars. One is for this one is for this one. And the good thing for the dual head is that, I'm gonna plug it in, is that it can show two different colors at the same time. So it's more interesting than a single head setup. And this time I'm also gonna be installing meteors or shooting stars, and it's gonna look exactly like that in the headliner. The first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna disassemble the back of the car in order to find the best place to put the light engine. So let's go. So the first thing I did was I removed these 4 Torx screws in order to remove the floor paneling and expose the battery. Next I needed to remove this chrome protective thingy, and it was held on by 4 nuts. Then I went to remove the side panel. I needed to take off the speaker cover. It exposed 1 bolt and the rest was on clips. Then the C-pillar, you just remove the airbag cover. There's 1 Torx screw behind it and then it's just on clips. The same on the middle cover, like above the windows you can see on the left. I took it off after that as well. Then I removed this plastic cover. It's held on by 1 Torx screw. The rest is on clips, and can't forget to unplug the little light as well. The last big piece was this subwoofer cover. It was only held on by clips, and after finally getting it off, a big cheeky smile. I also ended up taking off this carpet behind the rear seat. It was held on by 2 Torx screws. This will later help me to guide wires to the fuse box. I also decided I'm gonna take off the subwoofer. I'll explain why in the next clip, but it was just held on by 5 nuts, and then there was a plug for the subwoofer itself. So as you saw in the previous clip, I entirely removed this area because every time I do these jobs, there's 2 things I have to think about. 1 is where I'm gonna place the light engine, and 2 is where I'm gonna place the power to the light engine. The best spot for this would be inside this hole here. I'm gonna drop it like down inside here so that the fiber optics can go up the D pillar and under the headliner here. It's gonna look something like this. Like the fibers are gonna go in there next to the pillar here and inside under the headliner. So that's the first thing. The second thing what I have to figure out is where I'm gonna place the power to the light engine. And in the G-Wagons, the most accessible fuse box is under the rear passenger's seat. You just pop the cover off, and in this I'm just gonna place this fuse cable inside here, and this is gonna go to the ground somewhere, and this is gonna go to the light engine. So it's gonna be an OEM install, and out of sight, out of mind. So yeah, everything is figured out in the back. Now we can finally start to lower the headliner. So let's go to the front and start the disassembly. To remove the sun visors, there are 2 Torx screws on each side, and then there is 1 plug for the mirror light. The roof handles were definitely my least favorite part because on both sides there are these plastic covers that are very hard to get out. But after that there's these 2 metal clips that you have to press together, and then the handle comes out. The rear ones come out exactly the same, you just have to unplug the light as well. This middle section has a secret push release clip that you have to press in order to relieve the clips and lower it down. On the A pillars there's just a Torx screw behind the airbag covers, and then you can lift the pillar out. At this point I had taken off everything that I needed to, but as you can see I have left the B pillars on because I didn't need to take them off. So now I just need to pull everywhere I can to relieve it from the clips and from the velcros in order to fully lower it down and take it out of the car. Finally the headliner is out. It was actually a bit harder than I anticipated, but it's out, it's in one piece. I put it on my homemade stands so that's easier to work on. The next things I have to do, I'm gonna take off these insulations. Then I'm gonna split the headliner into 4 sections so that it's easier to count and make the holes. So yeah, let's get to it. First thing I did was I removed these sound insulations so that I would have access under them, but don't worry, I put them back as well in the end. After that I took the marker and I split the headliner into 4 equal sections so that it will be easier to put the 1100 dots in it. After all of the dots were made for both the stars and the shooting stars, I took the drill and I made the 1100 holes. For this I used a 1mm drill. And it was finally time to pull the fiber optics. As you previously saw, I created 1100 dots. Half of them were black, half of them were red. It's because I have a dual head setup and I have to divide both of the fiber optics through different holes so that in the end the colors would be mismatched. So I think I've reached a good stopping point to show you what I've done. As you saw, I created these dots. Half of them are black, half of them are red. 1100 in total. I've currently finished half of them, so 550. So 550 still to go. I also created these blue dotted lines. These are going to be for the shooting stars that I'm gonna show you at the end of the video. What's left, I'm gonna still pull through the other half, and yeah, then let's just put it back into the truck and start gluing it. So let's continue. 550 done, 550 still to go. This is the most time-consuming part of the whole process because you have to cut each of the fibers sharp and pull them through carefully so that the finished product would look as good as it can. After 10 plus hours of pulling 1100 fibers through the headliner, it was finally time to put it back into the car. Time for some glue. In order for the stars to stay in their place, they need to be secured, and for this I use their typical hot glue because I have found that it works best, dries fast, and is fairly cheap to buy, keeping in mind the quantity you need for this job. Also, you might be wondering why I glue it inside of the car. It's because whenever you put the headliner back into the car, you have to bend it slightly and it touches the sides of the car, so there is a risk that the glue might fail. So I do it inside of the car just for the peace of mind that everything is glued and nothing will fail. So now that the glue is done, it's finally time to lift up the headliner. It would be much easier if I had a second hand to do this because the headliner in the G-Wagon is huge. But yeah, I somehow managed to do it and it was time to cut the fibers. This is definitely my favorite part because at this point the headliner is fully installed, the light engine has been secured and wired, and you are at the home stretch of seeing the final result, which is always rewarding. And that's it, guys, the car is finally done. In the last clips you saw me cut everything and button up everything, and now it's finally done and I'm gonna show you how it looks. So here it is. Everything's working. We have the white mode now. I'm gonna show you the shooting stars. Change some color. Red, green, blue. What's this, pink? Yeah, purple. I love how the ambient lighting now goes well with the stars. Let's switch a different color, like for example, purple. Look, that's so nice. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing, press that like button, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya!